Welcome to An Apple a Day, a podcast, a resource, a community. Share your experiences and learn from others as we overcome barriers and learn to live a happy, healthy life with a disability. Welcome to the community. Here's your host, Jimmy Apple.
Welcome to another episode of An Apple a Day. I'm your host, Jimmy Apple. An Apple a Day is brought to you by www.famousapple.com. Famousapple.com is the home site for this podcast, so if you get a minute, check it out. While you're tripping around the web, make sure you stop by our group page on Facebook. You can go to famousapple.com/group. That's going to bring you to a page, Living with a Disability. That's our Apple a Day group page, and there's a lot of things going on over there. There's people from all over the world chatting on that page. They're asking questions, people are answering questions for other people, making new friends. You get a minute, check it out. It's a lot of fun. So how you feeling today, my friends? You feeling good? You feeling strong? You feeling better than you did yesterday? Excellent. How you making out with this COVID nonsense? You still socially distancing? You still wearing the mask? You still on the fence about the shot, or have you got it? Listen, if you decided to go for the shot, it's a two-shot deal. Don't stop at just one. Make sure you go for the second shot. A lot of people are stopping after the first one, and that can cause complications. So if you're going for the shot, if you decide to go for the COVID shot, make sure you go for both. Get your first shot, and I think it's a 2-week waiting period, and then you go for your second shot. Make sure you get both. Don't just get one and say you're done with it. If you haven't decided to get the shot yet, don't worry about it. It's a personal decision. Nobody can tell you that you have to get it. That's up to you. That's a personal decision that you have to make. I'm not going to say much more about COVID in this episode, except for this one thing. I noticed Florida lifted all its restrictions. There's no more restrictions, no more COVID restrictions in Florida. How stupid can you be, all right? How stupid can Ron DeSantis be to lift all restrictions? Does he not think people from other states that do have a relatively high number of people with COVID aren't going to travel to that state? Of course they're going to go. You know, the one problem that I see that we have in this country is everyone's doing what they want as far as COVID and fighting COVID. What we should do is stick together as one country, not Democrats, not Republicans, not independents, but as Americans, and fight this head on. We should fight it together. United we stand, divided we fall. We shouldn't have one state opening up 100% while another state's only open 25%. We should do it as one. Not one state saying, well, we have very few people that have the COVID virus, and another state saying, well, we have so many. If one state has a lot, then we all have a lot, and we all fight it together. We fight it together, we'll win together. When we're fighting this piecemeal, one guy doing this and one guy doing that, that's like, take the army, for instance, all right, or a military. Take a military. If you got one unit saying, well, I'm not going to fight, but the other unit's going to fight, we're going to lose. We have to fight together. That's all I'm going to say about COVID right now. We have to fight together. If one isn't going to fight, but the other is, we're going to lose. So united we stand, divided we're going to fall. We got a good one for you today. I have an interview with two gentlemen, Michael Lipp and David Kirshenbaum. Together they formed the group The OYLS, OYLS. An LA-based electronic duo, The OYLS, are releasing the music video for their song Netflix, Your Product Is Too Good, directed by Nicole Lipp, Michael's wife. Both the third single off their most recent album, OYLS, for your consideration, as well as the third episode in a series of seamless videos dubbed as visual pop opera. The video stars legendary actor and Los Angeles local Danny Trejo. He starred in movies such as Machete and Spy Kids in a very humanizing role, a lost soul binging on Netflix late at night in a motel with snacks, naturally. With the hopes to destigmatize mental illness, the band shares the song is really about how we cope with our negative feelings, whether they stem from stress of our daily lives, mental illness, or uncertainty about the world. OYLS explains, to have someone of Danny's stature willing to portray a vulnerable character struggling with his own mind is invaluable to normalizing our conversations about mental health. It is really a huge honor to have him involved. Boy, I'll tell you what. Think about it. If you don't know who Danny Trejo is, look it up. Look up who Danny Trejo is. Danny Trejo is, look at him. If you looked up maniac in the dictionary, his picture would be right next to it. In reality, Danny Trejo is a sweetheart. He's a softie. But he portrays a maniac all the time, like in the movie Machete. But he's the perfect face for what they're trying to get across. And you're going to hear all about it. You're going to hear all about it. I want you to sit back, relax, and I want to introduce you to Michael and David, because their story about this song. Now, mind you, I want to let you know in the show notes, I'm going to have links to the video and to the music that we're talking about here. But listen to them explain this song. This is unbelievable. Unbelievable. And you're going to hear me make an ass of myself about 3 minutes into the interview when I confuse them with a 4-H club. But it's all part of the fun. So sit back, relax, and let me introduce you to Michael and David, a.k.a. the OYLS. We're here today with two gentlemen, Michael Lipp and David Kirshenbaum. They make up the OYLS, and they have a new video out with none other than Danny Trejo. Now, you're probably saying, Danny Trejo, I know that name. Think of the maniac. Danny is the maniac in all the good movies. Well, actually, he's a sweetheart, but he plays a maniac. So I'm going to let Michael take over from here. Michael, tell us, where did the name the OYLS come from?
So OYLS. So David and I, music partners, we started making music together in high school, but then didn't start making like electronic music until we were kind of in our last years of college, which was like around 2013. And we just started kind of experimenting with computer music, and we had made a song one night and we decided that we wanted to just put it out, and we realized that we needed a name, of course, to put out a song. So I had one friend who had just graduated from college. He was in the music industry, and so I thought, I'm just going to ask him what we should call ourselves, like what would be like a good branding move. And so I texted him what I thought was, hey, what should our band name be? But for whatever reason, I mean, like I'm a kind of a horrible like typer on my phone. Like I'm always just hitting the wrong key. And I typed OYLS, OYLS, should our band name be, ? And I didn't realize that I had typed that. And so he responded OYLS, ? Which I just thought was a suggestion. And so that's what we became.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how it happened. I'm David, by the way, the weird voice that just entered. But we changed the I to a Y because it was kind of during the whole little oil spill fiasco. So then it kind of just became a fun acronym that we just like. We liked it aesthetically too, so we just kind of ran with it. But it was completely an accident.
Yeah, and it turns out there's another organization called the Okeechobee Youth Livestock Show, I think out of Florida, Okeechobee, Florida.
Yeah, they're our biggest competition, basically.
They're our biggest competition on like Google rankings.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a big annual deal.
And they're making the same type of music? I honestly don't know them.
No, they don't make music at all. I think it's literally like a youth livestock show.
Oh.
I think they like.
Yeah, with like cows and lambs and all that good stuff.
Okay, so they're not making
we're
the
not,
same
we're
music.
not in the same realm. I'm just sarcastic too much, probably, is where
Okay.
where that came from.
Okay, I got you. So this new song, Netflix, your product is too good, and the
Yeah,
video.
yeah, yeah.
What's this all about?
Oh man, Dave, I just feel like you're so good at explaining these things.
Okay. Yeah, well, so I guess, well, the first thing to know is that the record it's from, it's called OYLS for Your Consideration, and every song is named after a brand, specifically ones that pop up a lot in our lives, Instagram, Apple's there, New York Times. But each one was deliberately picked to kind of convey a theme that, we experience as a society. And Netflix specifically, we decided to focus on the overall issues that people struggle with regarding their mental health and the kind of cyclical nature of you're feeling depressed or you're feeling anxious and you can't sleep, so then you watch Netflix at 4 in the morning or whatever time it is, and then you feel even worse about yourself because you stayed up watching Netflix. And so it kind of becomes this vicious cycle. But we wanted to challenge the idea of watching Netflix at 4 a.m. actually being, is it really a bad thing, I guess, is, and furthermore, it's definitely supposed to be a little tongue in cheek when Michael, who sings, says he's a loser. It's really conveying how the character in the song feels about himself. And to tie it back to Danny Trejo, we really wanted to hammer home that idea that coping mechanisms that might not be the most obviously helpful, or people might even tell you like you're a loser for watching Netflix. Like, everybody's struggling, and especially during the pandemic. And so the song we actually wrote before, but it ended up applying. And so I know it's a really long-winded answer, but it really is important how all of the pieces kind of come together, because once you get in that cycle, it's hard to break it. And to have, like you said, a tough guy like Danny Trejo being the one to convey that was very deliberate, because we want people to understand that it can happen to anyone. The toughest person you can think of still can be suffering or trying to cope.
And Danny Trejo literally was the toughest person that we could think of.
Yeah.
Really, really,
Yeah.
he is.
That's what comes up when you look tough up in the Merriam-Webster. It says, strong is one and two is Danny Trejo. So we just went with that.
Uh,
But
But it's so true what you're saying, especially when it comes to mental illness, and mental illness has such a bad stigma attached to it,
mhm.
Yeah.
and
Yeah, absolutely.
you never know who's suffering, and
Yeah.
that's such a great. Danny's face is such a great face to have attached to it, because he looks like such a confident guy. You see him walking down the street, you cross the street because you're afraid of him. Seriously. But
Yeah. Yeah.
here's a guy that, I mean, not that he's suffering from it, but his character is suffering from it, and you would never know it by just looking at him.
Exactly. And I think, in addition, it's really nice that you phrased that the way you did, because especially regarding the stigma that comes with mental illness, it enters the discourse most of the time, in at least in the United States, when there's acts of violence, shootings, things like that. But majority of people with mental illnesses, it's an internal struggle with nonviolent tendencies. The person you harm the most can often be yourself and
Exactly.
your quality of life. And so Danny Trejo, he's a machete and he's just like messing everything up, a badass. And it just like it. But what's cool is that you have this guy who's been in a lot of what you could say violent films, or but then we pull him out of that context and are able to have that, not literal conversation, but the conversation about mental health from a new perspective. And that's really important to me and Mike.
It,
Yeah. And what's interesting, if anyone like follows Danny Trejo as a person outside of Danny Trejo, the actor. He himself is very vocal about his struggles with substance abuse, or way back when he was heavily addicted, and now speaks to addicts and speaks to people who are in recovery, and does a lot of work with mental illness from a place of experience.
Exactly. Like I said, he's such a you would never think it. I mean, you guys had the forethought to put him in that position. But I know, like me, I would never think to use a person like Danny Trejo to get this point across. But he is the perfect person, because you would never think a person like Danny Trejo would have mental illness, or not mental illness, but mental problems. And yet it's showing people that you never know who has it, who is suffering. And you never know what problems another person has. Danny portrays that perfectly. Like, you see him on the street, you would never think like he's depressed. You just think like, I want to get the hell out of his way.
I mean, yeah, I guess it depends on it depends on how tough you feel that day. But no, and then I'm gonna hand it off to Mike, because I've been talking. I mean, this is just a big passion of mine. But another thing I noticed during, when I'm speaking with people, and including during this interview, is just how difficult it is to even name mental illness. We've used struggles, issues, this, that, and so the fact that, if you break your leg, you just broke your leg, or if you have heart disease, you can name you just have heart disease. We still don't even really have the lexicon to even talk about. We don't have the vocabulary to talk about mental health. And so that's another thing, is if you normalize it into pop culture, then people come up with words for everything. There's a word for everything. People will come up with all sorts of stuff. And I think that if we just had easier ways of what we call it and how we talk about it, that would go, just the longest way toward making progress.
100%. I agree with you 100%. But now, please tell me, how did you go about getting Danny to do this project?
This is all Michael.
So if you're from LA, that Danny has a bunch of restaurants. He has Trejo's Tacos, Trejo's Donuts, all over the city. And my wife, who's the director of the video, Nicole, Lipp, and I we would go out and eat at his restaurants, waiting to meet Danny Trejo. And we just kept failing to meet Danny Trejo. So we were able to finally find the contact info for his agent. And we pitched the idea and talked about the whole kind of mental health angle, and he loved the idea and got on board.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool, actually.
Yeah, I mean, just by going through just the totally legitimate channel, the idea just really spoke to him.
Because I was thinking you were hanging out, waiting at his restaurants, going, "Hey, you want to play a mental patient?"
Well, that was our plan. I mean, I don't know what we actually would have said if we bumped into him, and if it would have worked. But yeah, that's what we were shooting for at first.
Michael and Nicole are very charmingly persistent. They'll go for it, and you'll like them the whole time. But yeah, they just didn't run into it, I guess.
But yeah, no, he was great.
Now, according to the information I got from George, this is the third episode in a pop opera.
Yeah.
Is Danny in all the episodes, or just this one?
He's not in all the episodes. He's in this one. He's really only in this one. He might his face might show up because they all string together. So at the very beginning of the next one, you might just catch a glimpse of his face.
Okay.
Yeah, but this was Danny's episode.
Okay, and you're donating money from this video and from this song to charity, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To Music Cares, which is the Grammys charity, and they help musicians with all sorts of needs, but including mental health and addiction resources.
Excellent. That's great. Do you have
Also, to make a quick plug on our Spotify page, you can also make a direct donation, and it all goes toward Music Cares. None of it goes to Spotify. So if that's how you want to make a donation, we'd love that also, because anything we can do to help.
Well, you just read my mind. That's what my next question
Oh,
was.
that's what I do.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, Kreskin. Do you have an address that they can go to or a website they can go to?
Yeah, I mean, so from Spotify, that's a great spot to do it. But I think if you just like Google Music Cares, I think it's, and I don't want to give the wrong address, but I think it's Grammy.com/Music Cares. I could Google it on my phone right now. Here, let me see.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
No, it's good though. I
I'm
mean,
more prepared. I'm sorry, guys.
we want people to help. Yeah.
Yeah, just go to Grammy.com/Music Cares.
Great. And it's Grammy.com/Music Cares.
Yeah, so that's MUSICARES.
Excellent.
Music Cares. Yeah, and actually, before we put out our record, we sold off the albums, like the space on our album. So like anyone could buy like a little square or multiple squares on our album artwork, and all that money went to Music Cares as well.
Right. I was going to ask you about that next. So it's like your album cover became a billboard.
Yeah, it's chaos. Huh?
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
That's actually really cool. That's really cool. You know, you guys are like the most selfless guys in music that I've met so far.
We appreciate that. I'm not.
I'm being honest with you. That's the first time I've heard of someone doing that. I don't know if it maybe I'm just in the dark, but I've never heard anyone else doing that, and I think that's really good. Really cool, honestly.
Yeah, nor had we. So we were really happy about it. The one thing that kind of bit me afterward though was that my mom, because anybody could buy any square, just shoved a nice little baby picture of me on the cover. So now, like, I can't say no if she wants to pay for it, and it's just like right there.
So,
me and my little brother. So
your baby picture is on your album.
Yeah, she followed the rules and she wanted to donate to charity. I can't say no.
Great.
But yeah, we're really proud of how it turned out, and I like how it looks. Honestly, I think it's an interesting look for the art.
Like a mosaic. That's
yeah.
That is really
exactly.
That is really cool. Yeah, and you guys got to be proud of yourself. Now,
yeah. I would say, the one thing I would say I'm proud of is that if you were to, Google OYLS with recent results, that there are so many headlines that address what we're trying to, the message we're trying to get out about mental illness. And I will say it's really the two times I feel most proud in music are one whenever a fan reaches out and says that they like a song or asks a question, and the other is to see our name next to something that means so much to me in a positive way. So I would say like that I'm very proud of, because it's really a privilege to have a voice. It's not the biggest voice in the world, we're not selling out the Greek or the Hollywood Bowl, but it's that was a proud moment for me, because it's hard sometimes to stay the course, and so to see those actually make it there, that's where I would say that I'm really proud. And I'm really proud of Michael, the way that he made it like really happen lyrically and visually, and Nicole as well. Just like to work with both of them has been amazing.
Well, you're not the biggest voice yet, but you're on your way there. That's
for sure.
Yeah, thank you. Your lips to God's ears.
That's for sure. I mean, it's funny because Georgie contacted me, and it was that night, honest to God, my right hand to God, that night I was going through some other things because I was interviewing actually a child author, and I was looking at a video of theirs on YouTube, and when I did, up pops your video.
Wow!
I swear to God, the OYLS, and I was like, wait a minute, I just read about them in my email, and
love that.
It's out there. It's out there, and I was I watched it again because Georgie sent me the video in my email, and I watched it, and I watched it again. Just like I said, it's contagious. Actually, once you watch it, it's not like one of those things that you could watch and just put down and say, "Well, I'll never watch it again," because there's something about Danny Trejo in a bed in a hotel room eating Doritos. I don't know what it was. And the music is hypnotic. It's absolutely hypnotic. And
Thank you. Yeah.
and it goes in low. It comes in low and high, and you and I don't know if you meant it to be like that, but I found myself straining to hear part of it, and then all of a sudden I was listening to it. I don't know. It just pulls you right in. It honestly does. That's my take on it. It pulls you in, and it was almost like a game listening to it. That's the way
We'll take it. I love that.
Yeah, I love that description. Thank you.
I think there are certain things in music where it's a happy accident, and I would admit that. I'm not trying to be pretentious, but definitely from just an energy standpoint, there was a deliberate choice to make the verses and the chorus kind of contradict each other, especially to be reminiscent of bipolar disorder and other similar disorders that cause kind of heavy ups and downs. So I don't write, Michael writes the lyrics, and we both record the instruments together, and then I'll do some mixing. And so one of the things I wanted to focus on was making sure that it really did feel kind of appropriately jarring, like not too much, but like that it really is kind of supposed to fluctuate in that sense. I know that's not super pretentious, but I promise if it were unintentional, I would happily let you know. But that was one thing that I really did try to work hard on to make sure that
you succeeded, because I was listening to it, and then I found myself leaning in to listen, and I was like, was this a mistake? And then it became louder, and then I'm listening to it, and then I had to listen to it again. And I'm like, wow. And then I listened to it again. There's other songs like you can listen to and say, yeah, it was a good song. And you move on. But yours, this one song, I listened to it. I must have listened to it that night probably 4 or 5 times. And each time I took something different, not something different, but something more out of it each time.
That's great.
It is.
Yeah, that's a giant compliment. Thank you.
Yeah, seriously, we don't know how to do compliments that well. But we really appreciate
but no,
it.
you really knocked it out of the park with this, as far as I'm concerned. I love something like that, where it builds it. It's and I don't want to sound like I'm kissing your ass, because I'm not trying. I mean, I am, but I'm not trying to. But it's like The Godfather. I love the movie The Godfather. I can watch The Godfather 1,000 times, and 1,000 times I'll take something different out of it. And that night, I was listening to this song, watching the video, and 5 times I took something different out of it each time. Honest to God. It's just it's a well-crafted song, a well-crafted video as far as I'm concerned.
I appreciate that so much, but I'm not entirely sure how to respond to being put in the same comparison as The Godfather.
Well, I'm not
no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm just comparing the movie.
Really, no, it's really, exactly. I know.
I'm not looking for a horse's head in my bed or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm saying that one of the best movies ever made, and you putting in the same sentences or song that we made in my parents' bedroom, because that's all we had. So it's like,
no, I'm just saying, like, it's something like that. You can watch a movie that you like 1,000 times and take something different out of it, or something more each time you watch it. And this song, it was like each time I listened to it, I took something more out of it. And maybe because I'm tuned into the disabled community, people with disabilities, and I just took something more out of it each time. It just hit me that way, and I'm sure it hits other people the same way, because like I said, it draws you in. It's not like a song that you could just put on in the car and go, It's a song that you actually have to listen to.
Yeah. Love that.
Thank you.
Mike,
could you come Could you like come and just talk us up before any show or something like that?
Yeah, seriously, with no openers, just you and straight into the show.
There you go.
The musical equivalent of The Godfather. Here's Mike, I feel that, Mike, do you have anything that you wanted to add about the song? I mean, you're the lyricist, the singer, the co-writer, and I just, because it became about mental illness, I talked my mouth off, but you must
No,
have,
it's funny. I'm having one of those listening days. And it's just really nice, listening to you talk about it. I'll chime in. I'll chime in if I think.
Well, listen, I'm gonna tell you right now. Everybody has to get a copy of this song. If not, I'm gonna make you an offer you can't refuse.
Whoa. There it is.
How can they get a copy of this? I know on YouTube you can look it up. But if they wanted to buy it or get it off of, you're on Spotify, right?
Yeah.
Really, any digital storefront. We haven't discussed publicly release a physical release, so currently it's digital only. But really, wherever you consume your music, it should be there. But then, Mike, do you want to give out the social handles and that, because that's where you can find more updates?
Yeah, so I think the place where we end up posting the most is on Instagram. So on Instagram, we're OYLS.net, and all spelled out, so OYLSDOTNET.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Well, what I will do is I'm going to put that in the show notes as well.
Thank you. Yeah.
And I'm also going to put that up on Facebook, on our page on Facebook, and I'll put it on the famous Apple page. That's the home site for the podcast, and we'll share it on there. I'm gonna, if you don't mind, I'm gonna put the video, the link to the video up.
Oh, we love that. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
That'd be great.
I really enjoyed talking to you guys today.
I did too. Yeah.
Yeah, we enjoyed talking to you too. Thank you for having us.
No,
thank you so much.
Thank you very much for coming on with me. I really do appreciate it. And good luck with this. Good luck with this. And
thank you.
You've made it so now I'm not so scared of Danny Trejo.
Well, we do what we can. So,
all right.
Well, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much, and good luck. Good luck with this. Yeah, I think you're gonna go far with it all.
Great. Well, stay healthy and safe.
You too, please. You and your families.
All right. You too. Right, bye, everybody.
All right. Bye. I really want to thank David and Michael for coming on with us today. They are great guys. They truly are. They're funny guys, I'll tell you that. And I want to urge everybody, please check out their music. And like I said earlier, I'm going to have links to this particular song and the video in the show notes. So check it out. Make sure you check it out. Check them out on Spotify. And their music is really inspirational. It truly is. And I wasn't just blowing smoke up their butts when I was talking to them. You listen to this music, I guarantee you're going to have to listen to it 3-4 times. And each time you listen to it, you're going to get something else out of it. It's amazing the way that their music draws you in. I'm telling you. It's phenomenal. I can't say enough good things about this music. Please, check out their music. It's really good. Well, I want to thank you for stopping by today, and I want to remind you of something very, very important. No matter what, things can always be worse. Right now, there's somebody somewhere wishing that they were in your position, so things can always be worse. And just one more thing, when it comes to mental illness, you never know who's suffering. And if someone comes to you and wants to talk to you, let them talk. Please let them talk and listen. Sometimes they don't even want your input. They just need somebody to listen to them. And listen, be a kind person, be a good person, and listen when somebody needs you. Okay? Thanks a lot for stopping by. We've got a packed week coming up. You're going to hear from me a number of times this week. Trust me. So have a great day. I'll talk to you again shortly. You've been listening to An Apple a Day. My name is Jimmy Apple. Talk to you soon, my friends.
Thanks for listening to An Apple a Day with Jimmy Apple, your gateway to a happy, healthy life. Join our community at www.famousapple.com. See you next time.